Hey friends, so I know that this is not historically accurate Renaissance era clothing. I've never once worn historically accurate Renaissance era clothing to a Ren fair. Most of my Ren fairs are in the summer and I live in the South. That's not happening. Ren fairs, not historically accurate, really not the point of them, and no one is pretending that they are. But I'm going to take these comments as genuine asking for education and not people just commenting out of a false sense of superiority, because I think that the history of Ren fairs in the US is actually really interesting. So Ren fairs, as we know it, are like an extremely American thing. They were started in Southern California in the 1960s as more of like an educational craft fair. So when they started, they were supposed to be more of historical reenactments with people dressed in historical garb. Again, not the patrons. Patrons have never been expected to dress historically accurately, going to different booths essentially and learning from different artisans about Renaissance era crafts. So things like weaving, metalwork, that kind of idea. Now, that evolved and changed very quickly. Ren fairs today are really more about entertainment and tourism, and that's fine. That's all they're trying to be, and they do it very well. Most Ren fairs, especially the larger ones, do still have artisans that give like examples of their work and will teach you about their work if you ask about it, but it's not the main focus anymore. However, the name Renaissance Festival is not a misnomer. It never has been, and it isn't now, because every fair that has Ren Fair in their name has some sort of cast, and that cast is hired by the Renaissance Festival, and they are cast as historical figures from the Renaissance period. Oftentimes we see like around King Henry VIII, that era, which is kind of late Renaissance, but it is still Renaissance. And these actors, not only are they wearing historical garb, or as close to it as we can get, because obviously like true historical garb is very expensive to recreate and wear, but they are wearing historical garb. They know their characters, they know the person that they are playing, and they understand the history of it. That history is real. If you want to interact with those cast members and get that, that is available to you. It's not the main point of Ren fairs, and it never has been. If you want to go to a historical reenactment, those also exist. They exist all over the world, and they exist in America. It's not common for Americans to do true historical reenactments of the Renaissance, because that's not American history, right? Like that is, I mean, it's European history, like it's my ancestors' history, but it's not American history. And if we're doing historical reenactments in America, especially from the Renaissance period, like that's not what was happening here. So that's not what's going to be reenacted here. If you want to do historical reenactments, that's available to you. I would recommend the SCA. It's a Society for Creative Anachronisms. They're like very interested in proper historical reenactment. They're great. They're not Ren fairs, and that's okay. Both things are good. SCA sometimes works with Ren fairs, but it's not the point, and that's fine. It's all good. We're just trying to have fun. Don't be an ass.